Welcome to the Riot, everybody. My name is AmericanRiot, and today I have another Gray Zone video for you all. I've heard the devs have heard our metal vocals around the studio, and they are quite entertained by it. That's pretty cool. But anyway, with that being said, we got a new video on Gray Zone Warfare. I'm a couple days behind getting this video out, but I've been really busy with Thanksgiving and family, and I've been working in my yard, clearing out some woods and stuff. So very busy, but let's go ahead and jump into this video. This video is going to be a little different, but before we jump in, please smash that subscribe button. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers. I think we'll hit it, and consider following us over on Twitch. We're live Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, barring Christmas holiday or me going out of town for work, which I have to do every once in a while. But we're over on Twitch, and we play tactical shooters, looter shooters, and survival games. So please go follow us over there as well. So in this video, I'm going to share several things that I got to chat with the head of comms about at Gray Zone Warfare. Really cool. The devs brought me in, and I got to have a conversation with them. So we're going to talk about some things that I've observed in the trailer, and some of the things that I've talked about with the head of comms, which they cleared me to talk about, which is really cool. Make sure we are all on the same page here. But before I do that, we're going to watch this video. Super short gameplay clip. I think it's about a minute or so. I'm just going to cut to it. I'm not going to talk. I'm going to let y'all watch it, and then we'll get into some of my thoughts on that. All right, so that was the new trailer they put out that was revealed at the PC Gamer Show. With that being said, here are some things that stick out in my mind, all right? One, the attention to detail. From the environment to the animations, from the ammo type, right? It looks like there was M995-556 ammo in that M4 when they're walking through the jungle. That was pretty sick. The firefights and the sound, right? Attention to detail. Again, that's the word that keeps coming to mind. This sound, I've shot a lot of guns in my lifetime. I love guns. My older brother collects guns. We've always had quite a bit of property growing up, and I've gotten to go out there and shoot. And so, yeah, the gun, the sound sounds so good. And then even, back to attention to detail, when you see the gunfights, you see the dust and dust particles or pieces of the concrete when it hits a building kind of get knocked off. I think that's so cool. And I think part of that is that Unreal 5 experience. But we all know that it doesn't matter how amazing the engine is. If the devs can't properly utilize that engine, then you're just going to get a man project. You can get an Unreal 5 engine game that looks horrible. It looks like some of the worst Unreal 3 project games, right? Or Unreal 4. Maybe not Unreal 3. Unreal 4 would probably be a better example. But it's clear to me that the attention to detail there, that the devs know how to utilize Unreal Engine 5. So that's just kind of my take from this new gameplay trailer. Looks amazing. You can see when the fire is being returned on the operators that there's like a plant and the bullets are whizzing by the plant, and it's just kind of reacting to it. So cool. Also, kind of to that point, the firefights look good. The frame rate looks solid. Overall, beautiful. And I know we don't really have a gameplay loop yet. That's kind of the biggest takeaway that a lot of people are saying. Like, we don't know how the gameplay loop is. We don't know how much replayability. We don't know how much fun it's going to be, right? Those are all valid points. I think, though, at least the bones are there. It looks really good. And depending on how they kind of do this gameplay loop, I think it's going to be a really fun game, and maybe even the best game going into 2024, especially for us hardcore milsim people out there, people that enjoy Escape from Tarkov, people that like games like Ghost Recon Wildlands and Ghost Recon Breakpoint, especially when you play the realism mods on those games. I think it's going to be a really, really cool game for folks that fall in that category. Now, let's get into some of the things that I chatted about with the head of communication. These things are subject to change. This game is clearly being developed. The perception I have, these devs are really wanting feedback from the community, and they want to do this right. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Things are subject to change. Overall, this is kind of my takeaway from that conversation. Number one, the story. There's going to be emphasis on storytelling through quests in the environment. So maybe not like cutscenes per se, or like a campaign mission, like you think a cinematic campaign mission. I don't think we're going to see anything like that. But the way I kind of think of it, and kind of my interpretation of that, is kind of like Tarkov, where you can go on quests, or any really game that has quests where you go out into a world. And Division is a really good example. I think Division 1 did such a great job with environmental storytelling, finding the cassettes and everything that was going on in the world. So cool. And so that's kind of my understanding, is that Gray Zone Warfare wants to put an emphasis on storytelling through quests and environment. All right. Number two, boots on the ground warfare. All right. I don't think we're going to see vehicles in this game. I don't, the helicopters, my understanding, they're not even going to be pilotable. Kind of think of Zero Survival, or there's a handful of survival games that use a mechanic that where, you jump on the helicopter, it's a pre-flight, it goes to where certain locations on the map, right? You're not piloting it, but it's kind of like a taxi. So it sounds like the devs really want to put an emphasis on boots on the ground, and I don't hate it. I think that's cool. The map is going to be 42 kilometers square. Pretty good size map, not huge, so I can understand, maybe we're not going to be flying helicopters or jets or anything crazy, or even having a lot of land vehicles. They really want to put an emphasis on that intimate, boots on the ground, really intense, really immersive, milsim, realistic combat. I think that's really cool. Now, 42 kilometers square is still nothing to dismiss. I think in terms of acres, right? Growing up maybe on 10 acres of land as a kid, or, family members that have 15, or maybe some people have 20 acres. When you think of acres, well, 42 kilometers square is approximately 10,378 acres. If the conversion website I went to is correct, I think it is. But anyway, hey, grain of salt, people. But yeah, 10,000 acres. That's huge. The map is going to be pretty big. I couldn't really get a comparison from other games. I don't know. So if you all know a 42 kilometer square map, please drop in the comment. I would be curious kind of what game you can compare that to. Number three. It's going to be an open world sandbox. You'll have a base that you'll be able to upgrade and build at. My understanding is that, you won't be able to build bases. You have a base that's in the world in the same server. My kind of take on that is I think that the day before is trying to do something similar. The day before, they call it the ranch, I believe. So anyway, we'll find out on Thursday when we stream the day before. So we're going to be streaming the day before on Thursday. If you want to see that train wreck or disaster or glorious moment in gaming history, please tune in. I don't know. It's going to be one or the other. I don't think it's going to be in between. So yeah, back to Gray Zone Warfare. On the map, your base will be there, but I don't think other players can access it. There'll be some type of defense mechanism to where if players try to access your base, because if it's on the same server, there'll be landmines or sentries or something that will kind of keep them from getting to the base. So we'll see how that shakes out. Like I said, that's kind of my understanding of it. Next, there are going to be lots of points of interest. I think a game like this will totally benefit from a lot of points of interest. Again, if they're going to be doing storytelling through environments and quests, I think points of interest, that's going to play a role into that, and it's also going to keep the game fresh. You can play for hours and hours and still have places you've never explored. There are going to be 3 factions in the game, 48 players in the game. You can have 16 players per faction within a game. So 16 times 3 checks out 48 players. That's a pretty good amount of players, I think, for that size map. I mean, 10,000 acres, right? Now, 48 players. We'll see how that plays out. One thing that I have a problem with in Scum is that, like, the map is so huge in Scum, and it's 50-player servers or 100-player servers. The map is just way too big. You never, ever, ever, ever run into anyone. Well, since high stakes is the name of the game here, and since they want to put an emphasis on, ground combat, right, that, boots on the ground combat, it makes sense, I think. Once we kind of fill out the map, 48 players, hopefully that gives us enough action and then enough breathing room, right? You don't want it to be action all the time, because then it takes away the intensity, and then it becomes monotonous and redundant, and then you can just go jump in Call of Duty for that if you just want mindless looting or mindless shooting, I should say. But I think kind of that mix between not seeing a team for a little while and then running into a team, but always kind of knowing where you can find teams and always knowing that danger's just around the corner. I think that's going to be that perfect balance. And hopefully 48 players is going to strike that balance on the 42-kilometer square map. So hopefully it strikes that balance. Next, it was based off a book. I won't go into any details, but it is based off of a book, and the devs were inspired by a certain book. And you can already tell, based on what we know, what they've released on their Discord, a mysterious thing has happened on this island. This island is now quarantined, and so I'm excited to see how that plays out. I did not look up the book, and I did not read ahead. I don't want any spoilers, so I just want to play it and experience the story as the devs want us to experience the story, and hopefully there'll be some cool stuff in it. You're going to be playing as PMCs. No surprise there. Private military contractors, they've already released all that information. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. That's kind of my thoughts on the trailer. That's kind of my take and my understanding and kind of my interpretation of what I talked about with the head of comms there for Gray Zone Warfare. I hope you guys liked this video. If it was value added and you enjoyed the commentary, please leave a like again. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, come check us out on Twitch. We'll be over there Thursday night playing The Delay Before, and we're live 4 nights a week. Generally, I try to be live 4 nights a week over on Twitch. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Let's go!